you know, there's two settings in our house. There's on fire and not on fire. And my mum prefers things to be on the not on fire mode when she comes home. And we'd erased the check mark from that box and quite clearly marked the other box quite heavily with a Sharpie. On fire, which is not the mode that she likes things to be in. So what we've done is, Pete's gone, right, it's on fire. What you do is you smother fire. Yeah, one sneaker against 8 litres of napalm. So his first priority was to remove his flaming shoe, which lost the brief skirmish that it had with the napalm, right? Apart from setting things on fire, the biggest problem was too that it burned up all the oxygen in the room. Napalm is really oxygen hungry. It's kind of like, it's an oxygen thief, like Danny Minogue, right? So what happened was, all the oxygen in the room is just burning up. I'm like, we've got to get oxygen and put out the napalm. So I kick the door open, run out, get the hose, bring it in, and I start, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to douse it. So I just start dousing the napalm with as much water as we can. Now here is where we should have done research. Because there is one thing in the world that doesn't extinguish napalm. Do you know what it is? Fucking water! That's off my CD, We Almost Burnt the House Down, right? Napalm is specifically designed to burn on, in, and underwater. So not only did we not extinguish one jot of napalm with the water, right? But previously, it had gone as far as it could go. But with the water just slides under the napalm, picks it up and says to the napalm, hey, where do you want to go? I can fucking take you anywhere with this shit. I go in the garage. The napalm's like, yeah, let's go in the garage. There's heaps of shit in there. I haven't set fires in there. Oh, check this out. Oil on the floor. Bruh. Oh, look at this. Your sister's bike. Bruh. Oh, look at this. The car. And I was just like, oh, fuck the car. And I'm like, well, we can't put out the napalm. That's been made quite obvious due to our lack of putting out the napalm, right? But I decided, right, what we could do is we could herd the napalm somewhere. Between the garage and the driveway is a drain with a grate on the top. And I think maybe if we can get the napalm into the drain, it might just fuck off. It might not, but you know, you've got to have optimism, right? So I was just like, how are we going to get it in there? Like, I don't think harsh words are going to work. Or you, get in the gutter. You know, it didn't. So I thought, you know, we had a big store broom. Like one of those big wide ones with big black bristles. So I took the broom to the edge of the lake of fire and just started brooming the napalm towards the gutter. Now the napalm and the broom played a quick game of scissors, paper, rock, and napalm beats bristles, right? So the bristles just burnt the fuck out of there. And I was left with a giant wooden squeegee, right? So I squeegeed the napalm over to the grate. It got to the grate, it sluiced through the grate. You know what? It just fucked off. It actually did. It just rolled down into the pipe. In the pipe, no oxygen. Napalm goes out, no evidence. I'm like, holy shit, so we get the rest, Pete gets Hessian sacks, soaks them with water, starts putting out everything that was on fire. It gets to the point where there's no napalm anywhere in the garage, it's all in the drain, it's all fucked off. And I'm like, oh, that is very acceptable. That is awesome. It's almost like we didn't set everything on fire, except for the fact that everything's black and it smells like we just blew up a BP. I'm like, fuck, my mum is going to be home in like 5 minutes with tradesmen to do some tiling out the back. She's not going to be cool if everything's black. Like, what happened? Chimney sweeps. Fucking heaps of them. They just came in and touched everything. You know, so we get all the solvents that we can in the house. We start tipping the solvents on the floor to see what will take off the soot. Nothing will, except turpentine. So what do? We tip turpentine all over the floor. We scrub the floor. We squeegee the turpentine into the gutter. It fucks off. Great. Then we've just got the smell. There's a place, oh, who would have thought burning napalm doesn't smell like potpourri, right? Unless you make potpourri with napalm. So we need something that smells worse than turpentine. No. Oh yeah, what's that? Metho. Sweet. So we just got metho, tipped it on the floor, scrubbed everything, squeegee into the gutter. Just managed to get that kind of halfway done when Mum starts walking down the driveway, right? Now she gets about halfway down the driveway before the smell hits her in the face, because it's fucking pungent. And they're kind of squeegeeing methylated spirits into the gutter. So it's kind of obvious, and she's like, what the hell's going on? Now, my house, right? I'm the designated liar. Pete, fucking no concept of the future, just lets one out of the gate. Bah! The problem is, when there's two people lying, you have to completely corroborate your lie. the first lie that comes out is the lie that you have to stick with, no matter how fucked it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is your candidate in the presidential race for truth, you know? And no matter how fucked it is, both of you have to instantly, oh, Mrs. Valentine, you wouldn't believe what happened. We're going to wash your windows with some methylated spirits, because that's the best thing to do it with, and then, you know what happened? We spilt 8 or 9 litres of it when... Then we just tipped it down the drain. And Jesus looking at Pete going, oh my God, how much of this is bullshit? Pete, in the meantime, no concept of the future, turn around and give me a high five, right? With Mum still there. As this is happening, the tradesmen are starting to walk down the driveway. Now, they know they're not allowed to smoke in the house because they've been in houses before. The apprentice just behind them hasn't figured that out yet. He gets about halfway down the driveway, realises he's not allowed to smoke, looks for a place to put it. The most obvious place is the drain. So he flicks it down, and it's rolling towards the drain. As Pete and I see that, we just a little bit. Right, Mum sees the cigarette coming down, smells the smell. She just starts backing off a little bit. In fact, the only person that doesn't is this poor little fucker, right? This 16-year-old kid. The cigarette comes down, it sits on the drain, and for a second, nothing happens. What happens after that resulted in the 6-month grounding, a complete ban on petrochemical experiments in our house, and I wasn't allowed to see Pete for a very long time, which in hindsight was a good thing. But I like to think all that was actually worth it, for the look on this fucker's face. For, you know, because you got to remember, according to him, for no reason at all, he flicks a cigarette, and then fire spews up into the air. Wee comes down here. He thinks, oh, this couldn't get any worse at all. Oh, but fuck, it could, because what happens is the fire comes out this side, but all the pressure builds up in the other part of the gutter, right, and it bottlenecks in the drain, and it gets to an elbow joint, and then it just bursts. It shoots upwards. It cracks the next door neighbour's driveway, sending concrete and pebblecrete and dirt and my mum's geraniums into the air. And where do they come down? Just around this poor fucker. Just like, so he's got fire, wee, everything. You poor little fucker. See, most people don't like to finish a story with some deafening feedback. I like to think it's a trademark of mine.